thanks so much for joining me. So this first class that we're going to be doing is on somatic intuition, and the whole idea of doing this is so that you can practice what you learn. It's proper integral learning, which makes me really excited. So it means that you can practice what you learn all day and then come back into Clubhouse at 5:30, where you can ask any questions about what you experienced, which is the first time I've done anything like this. I've done Monday night classes and then you come back the following Monday and half the time you forget what happened. Whereas this way, you can actually practice what you learn, apply it to life, come back with questions. And also, if you're burning with desire or you're watching this on the replay, because I'm also filming it as well. So if you're watching this on the replay, you can ask questions in the comments so that other people are going to benefit from the questions that you're asking. Or if it's right now, because I'm not going to be inviting anyone up to stage to chat, just so you know. So if it's right now, then you can also DM me on Instagram and ask any questions as they pop into your head, and I can also answer them on the live call as well. So that's kind of cool. I mean, not at the same time, there's too much multitasking going on. This class that is lasting all week, I'm going to be here so right the way through to Saturday with a different theme on intuition every single day. Now, I am the queen of intuition, if I don't mind saying so myself, because I'm the author of the book You Do Know, Learning to Act on Intuition Instantly. And I've been teaching intuition for 20 years in different kind of guises, including a book, I'm just looking at my bookshelf, a book called Intuitive Lovers, as well as You Do Know, Learning to Act on Intuition Instantly, which is out with Hay House. I also have a free multimedia online course on my website as well. So you've got a lot of content to unpack if you want to live an intuitive life. And I hope you do, because I don't think that there's ever been a more important time, you know, in our history where we have had so much fake news, sales, stuff, you know, manipulators, liars, whatever. And I think it's really great if you can trust yourself. If you can trust yourself, then you can make fast, easy decisions. And it also significantly reduces the amount of anxiety that comes up with choices. And anxiety that comes up with, should I trust or not trust this person? Should I take, you know, and people talk about this a lot. They talk about what is the right path. You know, and I always think, is there a right path? Because every path leads to your education, knowing and understanding. So this particular class is about your intuition when it comes to your body, your physical body. And we're going to be looking at mental intuition, emotional intuition across the whole series of the day. But this is all about your body. Now, any of you who've ever taken up yoga or had a deep tissue massage may have noticed when you're face down on the massage table and they do that whole breathe in and you breathe out, and you know the pain is coming because you breathe out and it's like, ah! But then you may suddenly have a flashback to something from your past. And you kind of go, why am I thinking about that? Well, your muscles, and especially the fascia in your body, which is the connective tissue in your muscles, actually can store old memories. And so they always say if there's been a trauma, that you can actually find it somewhere in your body. So sometimes these memory flashbacks that come back to you when you're having a deep tissue massage, or if you've ever suddenly burst into tears in a yoga class, and if you're thinking, oh, your body doesn't have any memory, well, if you've ever taken up tap dancing or you've ever been a dancer, so I learned a dance routine when I was at college, a tap dancing dance routine. When I was at college, when I was 19, I'm now 49. And the minute that song comes on, I'm shuffleboard change, shuffleboard change, shuffleboard change. I can't say I was ever particularly good at it. But your body has a memory to it. You have a somatic memory. So anyone who has ever learnt dance will know exactly what I'm talking about. You can be thinking about what you want for tea, but your body can go into the routine, the dance routine that it is that you learned. So your body has an awareness about it. And I know we talk a lot about the mind-body connection. And again, if you don't know what I mean by the mind-body connection, well, if you're a man and you think about a beautiful woman, you know all about the mind-body connection. But what I would put to you is that actually there isn't such a thing as a mind-body connection. It's all one and the same thing. You're kind of like a walking mind, you know, and your mind is part of your body. So it's all one and the same thing. And as we will discuss later on in the series, you're going to learn about the brain that is in your heart as well as the brain that is in your gut. But it means that your body is capable of receiving information from yourself about what's going on. And what's important about understanding that is the more you are in touch with your body, the more you can listen to its subtle cues. Now, I'll give you a great example of this. Many years ago, I was living in London, and there was a knock at the door at about 3 o'clock in the morning, quite a frantic, I need some help. And it was a woman, and my first reaction was, oh my gosh, like something's happening. I've got to let her in, she's not safe. And as I went to the door, it was like my body moved away from the door. And it's a weird way of sort of saying that, because you're still going in a forward motion, but there's a, oh, no. So I didn't open the door as I would have done normally. I actually just asked what was wrong. And then I could tell by the tone of voice that there was something else going on here. But if my body hadn't given me that reaction, then I wouldn't have known. And so it actually turned out that she said that she wanted money for her meter because her meter had run out. But actually, if you've ever lived in a house with a meter, it doesn't run out overnight. It kind of goes into an emergency mode to save your fish fingers in the freezer. So other food is available. So it wasn't true what she was saying. And also, as she walked away from the door, having me shoved £1 through the letterbox and still not opened the door, 2 men walked away with her. Now, that could have been a very different experience for me that night. So I don't want to frighten you and say, oh, you need to get in touch with your physical intuition. But when your body goes, no, I want to move away from something, you need to pay attention. But also when your body starts to move towards something, like that kind of, oh, yes, there's a feeling that kind of like moves towards. And when you have that feeling, that's when it's a kind of like, that could be that you're looking at looking at LinkedIn, there's a job being advertised. And you weren't even really looking for a job. You were looking to see what Sandra was posting about or whatever. And you suddenly go, oh, I've got this really good feeling about this job. You know, and sometimes we ignore these things and you go, well, I'm not really looking for a job, rather than digging into it and wondering why we're feeling excited about something that it is that we're seeing. So in terms of our guidance, sometimes it's not a thought in your head, it's your body moving towards or away from something, because it's connected with all sorts of different ways in which we know what we know. And like I say, we're going to discuss all of these different ways, and you're going to see how they fit in with each other and how they also fit in with your physical intuition. But for today, I've got a little task for you. So what we are going to do with each of these days is that I'm going to set a task for you that you can practice during the day. So what I want you to do today is I want you to pay some real attention to the things that you feel that you really want to move towards and the things that you really want to move away from. Now, bizarrely, you might think, oh, I'm working from home all day, I'm going to be sitting in front of a computer, I'm not going to get that opportunity. Well, take a walk around the park, you know, go somewhere where you're just walking around, just be out in the world. And especially the contrast, if you can be in nature, as opposed to the contrast of being within a built-up environment, especially if you can get into a place with an open vista, you might be able to feel it even more then. Even if you're looking at emails, before you open the email, just pay attention to your body, because you might be able to tell whether or not this email, before you even open it, not even judging on who sent it to you, it's going to be one of those snippy little emails, snippy little passive aggressive, snippy little emails, or whether or not it's going to be something that says, oh, how are you? How was your weekend? And even the words, you can tell the vibe in your physical body of the intention behind those words. And we all can do this. And so we often assume when we're writing an email that people can't feel who we are in that email. And the same if you get a CV and you're looking at the CV. So wherever it is, whatever you're doing, whoever you meet, feel that environment. Now, if you can, COVID regulations allowing, I want you to go and sit in somebody else's seat. So if you happen to be in a work colleague situation, or you happen to be in a cafe, or you see someone sitting on a bench and they get up and move, go and sit where they were sitting. And what my expectation is that you will start to feel their energy. You will literally be sitting in their vibes. We talk about vibes a lot, don't we? Sort of like a high vibe or a low vibe, or I really like that guy's vibe. And we're talking about vibration because everything is made of vibrational frequency. So when you're feeling somebody's vibe, then you get that kind of sense of who they are. But this is really, let's go into a little advanced level here. When you sit in somebody else's energy, your body can also take on their aches and pains, especially if you're very empathic. Now, we talk about empathy a little bit later on. I think that's Wednesday. But your physical body will actually feel the energy of that ache or pain. Now, if that feels excruciating or uncomfortable, you just literally go, oh, move it, not mine, move it on. And that's actually a really good piece of advice if you ever find yourself, if you go and visit a friend who's particularly moany or not very well, and you find yourself feeling drained of energy. They're not energy vampires. It's our intention to heal. So we actually start kind of channeling our life force towards them. And that's actually what makes us feel exhausted, our desire to heal. And I liken this to the way that trees work, in that web of connectivity that goes on under the ground in their roots, and beyond their roots in how they communicate with each other through fungi. Yes, it could be a fun guy, but no, it's something to do with mushrooms. But you can get that kind of connection, and we do that energetically with other people. But your body can translate into actual physical sensations. So if you sit in the seat of somebody who's got an achy back, you're going to get an achy back. If you sit in the seat of somebody with an achy shoulder, you're going to get an achy shoulder. If you sit in the seat with somebody with a headache, you're going to get a headache. So feel how that person feels by sitting in their seat and by connecting with them in that way. That's going to be a really cool thing to do. The other thing that you can do, if you can't find, especially, this is maybe not so cool, but especially if they're much older than you or smaller than you, or a different sex to you. I tell you, I love sitting in the energy of a huge man, but that's a completely different conversation. But that's a beautiful thing, because you can feel, you go, my God, I feel taller, I feel bigger, I feel, I don't know, even stronger. That's like, it's such a cool thing to do. And you may have even noticed this, that if you've ever been on London Underground, and you kind of go, no, I'm not sitting in that person's seat. I'd rather stand and sway backwards and forwards with the movement of the train than sit where that person was sitting. You can kind of have that sort of feeling. So public transport is another great way of being able to kind of like connect with sitting in somebody else's seat. Now, I've said all of that. You're probably going to be thinking, well, that's the last time I'm staying in a hotel room. I'm not sleeping in somebody else's energy. And when it comes to buying secondhand clothes, do give them a wash before you put them on. So you can shift energy and not feel it so much in your body. So the chances of you getting into a hotel room bed and feeling the passions of the people who were in there the night before is pretty minimal. I'm really highly intuitive, and I've never felt that. So what I would say to you is, it only lasts for a few seconds in that chair before the energy dissipates. So you literally want to almost be like playing musical chairs, where you jump into the chair as the music stops, because the energy does dissipate quite quickly. So don't worry about secondhand clothes. Don't worry about hotel rooms. It's perfectly safe. It's absolutely fine. So another way of testing your intuition, and I do this live on stage. I love this. So it helps if you've got someone who you can work with. But what you want to do is you want to get, like, for example, maybe a glass of water. Although be careful with a glass. I kind of want it to be something that's got a lid on it. I don't take any responsibility for anything that happens with this exercise. So take a glass of water and maybe a glass of Coke, maybe this is going to upset everyone, maybe even a coffee or something, but actually it would need to be a cold coffee, because those of you who are very curious will want to do this as a double-blind experiment. And the way that I do this on stage is I get 2 identically sized bottles. I put one with water in it and another one with some kind of like weird liquid. The one that I'm showing on camera at the moment is just kind of like, it's hand cream. I think that's what I put in it. And because they're identically sized, and hopefully if you can put them as identically weighted as well, you're not going to know which is in which. And mix them up so that you don't know which is which. Is better if you've got someone to hand it to you, to hand the glass to you. So you want identically sized glasses with the identical amount of liquid in. So you can't go, well, the water was a little bit like, there wasn't as much water and Coke is heavier than water. So you want liquids, but you want a liquid that your body doesn't really want to drink, and water, because we're made of 80% of water. And if you really want to go clever, put it in a bottle that you can't tell which is which. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stand perfectly upright and you're going to put the bottle over your heart. Now you're going to stand perfectly upright with your eyes closed because you don't want to know what the liquid is that's in the bottle. Perfectly upright because you want to have balance so that you can feel yourself tipping. So when you have your eyes closed, your center of balance is much harder to kind of regulate. And so you put the glass or the bottle over your heart and your body will start tipping forward if it's water, if it's something it wants to drink, and backwards if it's something it doesn't want to drink. And for those of you who drink Coke, it usually goes backwards unless somebody really is like lacking sugar or has the need for caffeine. Which nobody really does. So you'll tip forward or you'll tip backwards. And it can be quite dramatic and it can be quite subtle. And when I do it on stage, I get the people to stand kind of sideways on so that people can see which way that they are tipping. And sometimes they don't even know how they're tipping and the audience shout, forward! And they're like, what? I wasn't even moving. But it's subtle and it can gain in momentum. And this is why I say I am not responsible for any of you who end up with a wet floor. Do not do the Coke over a nice white piled carpet. Yes, no staining, okay, no staining. And then that tipping backwards, sometimes it's so strong that you have to put your foot back to stop yourself kind of falling over. So I would just say those of you who are highly somatically intuitive are really going to feel like that. So that's your exercises. Now, the reason why I think that this is a great thing to do is when you've tested this and you can feel what it feels like in a deliberate experiment, then you can really feel what it feels like in a normal day. So then you can kind of go, oh, that's what my body feels like when I'm being pushed backwards. So this email is going to be a rotter. That's what my body feels like when I'm moving forwards. Now, here's the thing. I have used this technique for dating. I'm serious. I have walked past someone in the street or seen someone and felt that surge forward. And because I'm a little bit eccentric, some people call it weird, but I will get into a conversation with somebody and just to sort of see, and 9 times out of 10 I'll find it has nothing to do with my future love affair and more to do with the fact that I can actually help that person in that moment, give them a piece of advice, that there's something that they've got kind of going on and that will come up in a conversation and I'll end up helping them. But here's the thing, you can also meet people who are going to help you in the same way. That you can get into conversations that can be quite life-changing, that you may be pondering something and it gives you the answer. So here's 3 elements that we're going to be using throughout this week. They are fundamental to intuition. And I would even go as far as to say to you, there is no intuition without them. The first one is love. Of course, love is the guide to everything. So that's probably why I haven't won the lottery with my extremely relevant intuition. Because although I would love winning the money, I'm not really focused on the love of spending it or being a philanthropist, which I can never pronounce, or going out in the world and doing something really amazing. That doesn't shine through. What I'm curious about is numbers. And although the universe is made out of maths, really, everything is numbers, everything is maths, I can't predict the future. So I've never got the lottery numbers. And this is the thing, future predictions are not real. I just really strongly believe this, and everyone's entitled to their own beliefs. But I believe that you can manifest a prediction. So if somebody gives you a future prediction, you will think about it, you will manifest it. And the more you believe in it, the more you will manifest it. So actually, is a psychic or a clairvoyant manifesting for you, which is fine, unless you've got some kind of like vodka drinking, sour-faced old bat who never had love, and you go in there going, oh, I've met this wonderful guy, and she goes, you'll split up. And then she's just really manifested that for you because she was a bitter old crat. So I would just say to you, don't kind of look at it in that kind of way, because future predictions don't really work. So love, it has to be something that you love. It has to be something that you feel excited about. It has to have curiosity. You have to be curious. And interestingly, when I've taught this before, people always ask the question, how can you be curious? And to me, curiosity is like asking a question without words. So when you ask a question, you kind of like go, you know, should I go left or right? That's kind of, you know, it's like, what will bring me the most love? But put that as a curious feeling. You know, what will bring me the most love? What will bring me the most joy? But as a curious feeling rather than a question. So it can start with a question, but where it comes from is an expanded, open heart. So it feels like, curiosity feels like something expanding within you and through you. It's like the heart expanding, something is expanding. So that's how you know that you're being curious. So love, curiosity, but it needs purpose. Now, purpose again can be a confusing thing, because purpose seems to be this grandiose, this is what I'm going to do with the whole of my life. Well, unless you're really boring, you want something that you're going to do with the whole of your life. To me, purpose is like an umbrella over all of your different callings in life. So to me, my purpose umbrella is to move people from fear to love. That's what I do. That's in everything I do. It's even when I buy a latte, I'm moving someone from fear to love. You know, I might say something nice to the barista. So you're always moving somebody from fear to love. So that's the plan. That's what you're hoping to do. So that's my general life's purpose, and it happens all the time. Your callings can be intuitively led. So you may feel called to help someone across the road. You may feel called to pick up the phone to a friend and you don't know why. Well, that's your intuition. You may feel called to have a hobby or do a yoga class or go swimming, or you may feel called to do something in particular. And those callings can be career paths, relationships, friendships, anything really. And when you have a purpose can be a calling, or it can be just this massive, grandiose kind of like umbrella that you fit over everything. So when you want to find a purpose to your intuition, you can create something if you want, because I don't know about you, but I test things. Like, I wouldn't believe anything that I'm saying without you filtering this with your own common sense, intuition, and testing. And this is why I'm giving you practical things to test out what I'm saying. So for me, the first time I tested this idea of curiosity, love, and purpose was I wanted to find a jar of beetroot in an unusual place. Now, bearing in mind, that's going to take a bit of time, but I followed the breadcrumbs. And I remember arriving early, this was when I was living in London. I remember arriving early to a place that I had to meet someone. I mean, I was significantly early, and there was a hairdresser's. And at the time I was so busy, I couldn't even book an appointment to get a haircut. And here I was with an hour. And I just felt this pull, my body surging towards the hairdressers before I'd even thought, oh, this would be a good opportunity to get my haircut. So my body was telling me, get your goddamn haircut. Felt this pull into this hairdressers. Went into the hairdressers. Do you have an appointment? Oh my God, how weird. We've just had a cancellation. Sat down. There I am. There's the brush. There's the scissors. And there is a jar of beetroot. Now, unless that has become a new trend in hair colour, the colour of beetroot, made by beetroot juice, which it isn't, that was my intuition not only getting me a haircut, but also finding a jar of beetroot in an unusual place. So what I would say is just have fun with this. You can set yourself a task like that, or you can set some kind of other task. So if there's a question that you've got going on in your life at the moment, and you're kind of like, I really want to follow my somatic intuition to this kind of answer, then do that. Then do that. And just set it about as a purpose. Become curious, like a dog being shown a card trick. What? Become curious and see how that lands and see where that goes. And so from having that curiosity, follow the breadcrumbs of your intuition, follow the moving away from, moving towards. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back at 5:30 on Clubhouse, and I'm going to open up the hand raising so that you'll be able to kind of come in and chat to me, chat to each other, find out what all of your feelings were, what happened, what worked, what didn't work. You can challenge me and go, Becky, I think you're full of nonsense, that didn't work at all. But also, if you're watching this, because I'm aware that 8:15 in the morning is early for, you know, it's people in the UK, you might have heard part of this, not all of this. So I'm posting a video of this on my Instagram. So for anyone who's in the US who's catching up with this late, still come back and join us at 5:30 UK time on Clubhouse so that you can get your Q&A. The Q&A will not be recorded, but this has been recorded, which is another reason why I'm not getting you up on stage. And if you have got any questions, when you see the pre-recorded film, put them in the comments. So put them in the comments. I will keep going back to them and answering them because not everyone's on Clubhouse. So I will definitely answer your questions in the comments. And right now, if you've got any burning questions about the exercise, send me a DM on Instagram and I will reply to that DM, just so that you're going, yeah, you said that, but what? Because that contradicts itself. What did you mean? Then I can explain that to you if you kind of like missed a bit or weren't completely sure. So let's recap. You are going to wander around today feeling what your body moves towards and what your body moves away from. You are going to sit in the seat, COVID rules allowing, of somebody who was sat in there before, so that you can feel any aches and pains, how tall they are, how short they are, what's going on with them. If you feel something unpleasant, just ask for it to be moved away, it will go, or get up and shake it out, shake it off your body. Shaking is such a good thing to do, so give it a shake. Even if you're in public, that would amuse me. So that, you're going to get the bottles or the drinks, you're going to put it over your heart, you're going to see if you move forward or backwards to something that's good for you, like water, as opposed to something that's bad for you, like Coke or something else, or shampoo, you know, so whatever it is that you want to put in your bottle. I think I've covered absolutely everything. So those are your tasks. Look forward to seeing you at 5:30 on Clubhouse. And don't forget, you can ask any questions in the comments and I will get back to you at different points in the day and see how you're doing. So thank you for joining me. I am Becky Walsh, the author of You Do Know, Learning to Act on Intuition Instantly. If you want to dive in and go a little bit deeper, if you've got some time in your hands today, head over to my website and join the listening series, which is a free online course, multimedia. Go to the module on somatic intuition and do the module on somatic intuition today. If you want to be the smartest person in the room at 5:30 tonight on Clubhouse, then go and do that class. It won't take you too much time and it will go a little bit deeper than I've had the opportunity to do today. So do also sign up for that course as well if you want to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to be creating a monthly membership. Don't worry, this isn't a funnel, you're all right. It's going to be £15 a month and you're going to get meditation once a month, and you're also going to get a webinar class once a month. And this is just for people who want to stay living an intuitive life but need the buoyancy that actually meeting or having something that supports them every 2 weeks would really help. So it's a really low price, £15 a month. So yeah, that's something as well that I suddenly realised might be a good support at the end of doing this week if you wanted to continue with it and keep speaking to me about it and keep learning and keep getting to an advanced level so that you really are living intuitively. I thought that would be a nice thing to do. So I added that to all of this. Great stuff. Thank you ever so much. And I will see you in Clubhouse at 5:30. You take care now. Thanks for joining me.